Evolution of the Beast podcast. We have an awesome episode for you guys today. We're going to be touching on training, just prioritizing it, how to lock in, giving some tips on how to run your sets, and just how to get the most out of them as well. We were kind of talking about it while we were training. I just feel like a lot of people don't actually go the extreme like they should on a lot of their sets. So we just kind of wanted to dive in on that. You want to start opening up the conversation? Kind of talk about, I guess, RPE. We can kind of start there, and then we can kind of dive into like locking in, like how to lock in on your sets.
Yeah.
So I guess let's touch on an actual working set, right? RPE range 1 to 10. What do you think? What do you recommend for your clients to do on those sets?
Obviously, talking beginners.
Yeah.
So my beginners, the first couple of weeks, I want them feeling the weight, getting used to it while using and learning the form. So RPE, I would say anywhere between 7 and 8 on a working set. I don't want warm-ups so flimsy, though, that it's not doing anything for them.
Yeah.
And I also don't want them going overboard on that working set where they're straining and getting bad form now, rocking.
Yeah, and I'm kind of the same way. All my clients who train with me in person know I always have them do 2 sets of 10 really light before we do anything. Those are still like you said, like not overly light, but they are on the like 25 to 35%. So if we're using RPE, it's between like 2 and 4. Just something really light to just kind of get them moving and get them accustomed to the movement, especially if we haven't done it in a while. I'll kind of start there and then just kind of build them up. So we'll do like a 15 or 12 set, right? And it'll be RP of like anywhere from 5 to 6 and kind of build them up. But yeah, whenever I have a beginner, I'm going real light, like you said. Nothing over 7 to 8 RP. Even my online people, when I'm programming, it says in there, and it's all broken down in my endless method video, staying in that 7 to 8 the first time, right? Skill acquisition first. We got to learn the movement before we push it. And I feel like if people try to go balls to the wall too fast, they're going to burn themselves out or hurt themselves. So like if you go, 9 to 10 on the first couple movements and then like you haven't felt out that volume of the split yet, by the end, like you got nothing in the tank.
Yeah.
So I always tell them basically set their numbers the first couple weeks and stay in that RPE of 7 to 8 and work up and kind of figure out where your numbers need to be. And then on the next week, you circle back around and try to beat it. Keep log, like, hey, this was really easy, RPE of whatever it may be. Next week, circle back around and try to add 5 to 15 pounds, whatever it may be. I think that's a great tool to kind of, start light, kind of see how the split is, get accustomed to it, and then just slowly bump up and progress forward.
Right. And it's going to help with recovery.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing we want is day one in there with a client and they're going all out and strain your neck or they impinge your shoulder.
Yeah. And I say this a lot, and I'm probably sounding like a broken record at this point, because everybody always hears it, but we crawl, we walk, and then we run. You don't want to just jump in there running because that's how you're going to hurt yourself. I feel like a lot of even trainers, man, they'll just like break people down.
Right.
I have so many clients come to me and they're like nervous on first day because I think they see, like commercials or stuff and they're like timid. They're like, oh my God, I don't know what to expect. I'm like, the first couple workouts, if anything, I'm going to observe you. I'm going to give you something very easy and see how you do with it. And then if you do really well, I'll step it up a little bit, make it a little bit harder, see how you do. I'll just kind of make mental notes and jot things down if needed. But, it's just kind of see where they're at, So the first few sessions, like, you can tell we worked out, but you're not going to be like debilitated the next day. I never try to do that,
For me, it's all about their body language and their facial expressions.
Absolutely.
And seeing how they react.
Yeah, every now and then you will get people though, like with a poker face.
Poker face.
Talking about that. They're kind of hard to read, so that's when I pull out the handy dandy RPE scale. I'm like, 1 to 10, how hard was that? And that really never fails. I think you kind of, as you train the client too, you kind of get used to whether they're giving you a couple of numbers high or a couple of numbers low. So you kind of figure them out.
And if they have a straight poker face, I'll talk to them. Yeah. And if they're talking through the whole set, that was easy.
Absolutely. And men always overestimate, women always underestimate, always. Guys will be like, oh, I can do this much weight. I'm like, okay, put that much weight on the bar. It's like,
you're picking up off of them.
So that's one of the things, I've definitely learned is, just years gone by. That one almost never fails, too. You just got to kind of, start light, work them up, kind of see where they're at, and establish a baseline. We always want to control all the variables that we can, and that's kind of how we do it. Is we set a baseline, control variables, and then just tweak one at a time and kind of see what happens, man. Study and observe, and just kind of try to manipulate certain things to have a certain outcome. So that's definitely the best way to get started as far as like RPM training goes. But I think one of the things people struggle with, and I even struggle with it sometimes because it's hard for me to get off my phone. Sometimes it's hard for me to get away from the day, because it's just like people are texting me, people are coming up and talking to me, I'm getting emails, I'm getting notifications on Instagram, it can be very hectic. So one thing that I've done to just kind of lock into training and get away from my phone is having a second phone. You see me use it. I have a phone that does not have service. I connect it to Wi-Fi, but I just use it for music. I have all the notifications turned off for social media, mail, like my email doesn't come through, texts don't come through, phone calls don't come through. It's just for music. Now I keep my other phone on me, but I keep it on Do Not Disturb, and I just use it for video. It's like just capturing content, right? We'll do that, or pictures, videos, like really any content-based stuff. I do keep it on me too in case my wife calls. You never know if it's an emergency, so just like to have it just in case. But I try to I'm not focused on this right now. I'm focused on my workout. I'm trying to lock in. I got my headphones on, and you see me and you really don't talk unless it has something to do with the set, or if somebody comes up to us and they're talking, and I try to give them, that time. But I am ultimately focused on working out.
Exactly. And I think that's the biggest problem with that. Like Cody said, we take videos, we take pictures, we take content, but that's it. We're not posting them until after the workout. We're not creating anything in the middle of the workout. It's just for later. So don't distract yourself with, I'm going to post this right now, and then I'm going to do this set, and then you start getting all the notifications. Oh, Billy liked it, Gene liked it. Now you're stopping again, looking at who liked it. No, do it after.
Yeah, I actually, this is going to kind of spin off for a second, but I've actually done that with everything now. Anything that I'm posting online, I'm posting it after the fact. Because in the moment, I want to be living in the moment. I feel like we just naturally get obsessed or absorb's a better word, to Instagram, social media networks. So I feel like if you're capturing content, posting it immediately, you're not actually living in the moment, right? So I'll just take a picture, take a video, whatever it is. I'll circle back around later after I'm enjoying the moment and then post it. So same thing with the gym, right? I'm trying to enjoy my workout and be in the workout. So yes, obviously, me and Nate being entrepreneurs and trainers, that's how we make money. So it's we're still working, but we're not actually doing that part of it. We're just capturing, right? You have to do that. It kind of sucks sometimes because I tell people this all the time. If it wasn't for what I do for a living, I would not have social media at all whatsoever.
I will second that.
The only reason I get on it is literally to post stuff or interact with comments and stuff. It is very rare. If you go to my list of posts that I actually like, it's honestly only stuff that I get tagged in, or if I do get on there and one of my clients is on the top feed and maybe they didn't tag me or something, I see it, I'll like it. I'm very, 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 very rarely on there scrolling liking stuff.
Right.
I just don't have time. I really I don't see how people do. So I don't get on there just for that anymore. I used to all the time in my younger years, but I don't keep up, man. I really don't. I miss a lot of stuff too. People will be telling me things that are going on, and I just completely miss out on it. I'm oh shit, I didn't see that. I'm sorry, bro. I'm just busy, and I try to involve myself with my day, not social media. Social media in my mind is just a tool for me to make more money, get more business, expand my business, grow my business. It's not something that I get on there I don't need everyone else's approval of things. I feel like we kind of get tied up in that. So, and that's exactly ties into what you're saying is you're literally posting something who liked this? I'm gonna reply back to this comment real quick. And then it's all right, man, you still got 3 sets left on the hack squat and you're not locked in at all.
You lost focus. And really, especially the heavy sets, I want to be aggressive. I want to be in my mindset in a dark place.
Yes.
And if I'm looking who liked it, I know it's going to do the same thing to all my clients.
Yes, exactly. And that's exactly what I was going to touch on as far as taking your sets there, right? Going that extra mile. I feel like a lot of people get to that point where it hurts and they stop, right? They're not actually pushing themselves into that effective rep range, right? The 5 effective rep. They're not even getting to that point because they stopped too early, right? So like before our sets, and you've seen me do it, I've seen you do it, we always have our routine of things that we do, and we're sitting there, I tell you all how to focus, like lock in. Yeah, what do I say? I'm like, let's win. Like number one, we're going to win this show.
Seconds,
exactly.
So,
and you want that emotion into it, man, because it's an emotional thing. It's like, all right, now I'm going to let it all loose here, you know. And that's when we're talking like RPE 10, right? 9 to 10, like when you're really going all out. On your working sets, you know, obviously if you got multiple of them, we're going to say, you know, between 8 and 9. You're not going to have a 10 working set on every single thing. You're just not going to. We talked about that the other day. If I do a 10 hack squat, like a RPE of 10, I'm not getting that again for another however many reps I did. Like 7 plates for 10, that's where I'm at right now. I could not do that again. I could probably get 5 or 6, and I'd probably pass out, shit my pants, and throw up. All at the same time. So like, that's why I'm like, you got to really, like, you're pushing it on those sets, man. Like, I get 10, but that's all I got, you know. And I think people, again, they're not actually getting into training. I don't know if it's like they're not locking in, they're not focused, they're not fueled like mentally, like what you said, go to that dark place and use that. You know, I always say that, like, use that rage. You know, like, this is our mental therapy in a way, like, release that stress and that energy, you know what I mean? Like, if I don't have a good workout, it ruins the rest of my fucking day.
You had to talk me out of it 2 weeks ago because I had a bad set.
And it does happen, and that's why I tell people, like, I'm not 100% every single day. Do I show up and give 100%? Fuck yeah, but that doesn't mean that my numbers are going to be 100%. You know, but I'm giving that RPE of 10 on that hack squat, and that's what you did. You may have missed a rep or two, but it was RPE of 10. That's all I care about. You know, and then what did you do? You turn around that Friday and you nailed it.
Right.
You know, and that's what I was like, dude, like, just have a bad day. We're humans, man. We're not robots, right? Whenever we're setting up a program, yes, we have a lot of controlled variables, but sometimes things come up where controlled variables aren't controlled, and that's just something that we can't, like, you know, get caught up on. And you just got to continue to push forward and remember the goal at hand. And sometimes you're going to be more stressed. You know, like you're going to get big news, like something's going to get dropped on you. You might not sleep great the night before. You might not feel well. You might be coming down with a cold. You know, like every little thing like that, it can, you know, bleed over into your training. So it's whenever it's a continuous thing, then there's something we need to troubleshoot. There's something going on. Right. So we got that. Yeah, and that too, and that's like, you know, where we rinse, repeat, we swap out the exercise if needed, or, you know, we take another route, man. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a bad day. You know, everyone has a bad day every now and then. But, you know, it's just your mental, you know, you got to lock in and actually get it done. So I feel like I definitely see it here all the time, people on their phones. I'm sure you see it too. Yeah.
I don't want to call her out, but my wife's one of them. My God, we fight about it when I train her. She's on there, she's on Facebook, Instagram, texting someone. I'm like,
yeah. If you're doing all that, man, you are not locked into your workout. You're not giving 100% for sure. And it's just like with anything, man. Anything that you're actually like doing and you're focused on that fully, you're not doing anything else. You know, like you're locked into the task at hand and you're giving 110% at that task. If you're spreading yourself thin amongst other tasks, like on your phone, going back and forth or whatever, you know, like I've seen people in here literally like laying down on the machine like this, like scrolling on their phone, and I'm like, oh, like, you're not working out.
No.
Like, you're not excuse me, there's a difference between working out and training. We train, right? We train with a purpose. There's a difference between the two.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
Yes, and I think, you know, people need to realize that, like, if you really want to take it to the next level, like, you need to lock in and actually put all your efforts into it, man. You know, you can solve a lot of things with enough elbow grease, you know, just some TLC and elbow grease. So I think a lot of people should actually, you know, focus on training intensity. And obviously, like we talked about too, is reps in reserve, tempo training, things like that. It all has its purpose, and then just establishing a baseline within the program to make it better. So that way, as your coach, you know, we can actually make manipulations to the program as needed. If something does come up, similar to what Nate was saying, like he had that bad day on the hack squat, but he turned around on Friday and had a great day. So if he didn't have a good day on Friday, then I know as a coach, all right, like, that's a red flag. Like I need to kind of pay attention and see how this trends and catch it so that we can switch it. You know, you switch whatever it needs to be. Maybe it's your food, maybe it's your sleep, maybe it's your water, you know, maybe it's your electrolytes. You never know. So you just want to kind of pay attention. And every time a problem does pop up, that's why it's good to have people like you who are on it, you know, because then there's only so many variables that can be.
Right. There's not enough things to go through the checklist and waste 2 days trying to figure out what it was.
Exactly. So I guess I'd like to kind of touch on a little bit of like pre-workout ritual, you know, because I know we go through the same thing every day. We talk about setting up a good routine. So I know we've already touched on, I think it's best to train at the same time every single day if you can, if your schedule allows. So we have the same amount of food in us, we have the same amount of water, the same amount of sleep, hopefully, the same amount of electrolytes. Everything will be the exact same where you go into that training session, so that way we don't have any outside variables, right? So what is your pre-workout? Like, what do you normally do to lead up to your workout to get yourself locked in mentally?
So briefly, my first meal is 7 a.m. every day on the dot, not a minute late. Second meal is 9 a.m. Third meal is 11 a.m. And then 15 minutes before my workout, I will mix my BC powder and my pre-workout, start sipping on it, but then I'll eat 2 pickles to keep from cramping.
Yeah, I did my pickles.
Yep. And then I weigh out my bananas, 162 grams, which is about 1.5 bananas. I eat that 15 minutes before the workout. All this keeps me from cramping because I do cramp very easily, even though I work over 2.5 gallons a day. And then I'm ready to roll.
Yeah. And you see, so that's an actual great example. He kept cramping during his workout, and I made manipulations. Right. Now we're good. Exactly. We don't have no problems. But you weren't like throwing shit in there without telling me. You weren't like doing your own thing. You were following what I gave you, troubleshooting, fixed it up. We're good.
One day, man.
It's very easy for me when I clients like that. Cause I'm like, well, it's got to be one of 2 things, you know. And it's like, all right, let's try this, see how it goes, you know. I didn't think it was necessarily the water things you were pounding water.
Yeah,
You're like me, you need a lot of water,
gallons.
and you need a lot of electrolytes. I'm the same way, or also. So, again, it's just one of those things where whenever everything is the same leading up to a training session, then we know. If you were training at different times of the day, you probably wouldn't have been cramping because you would have had more water, more electrolytes at the end of the day, right? More food in your system. So that's one of the things I think establishing a schedule helps. What I like to do, I'm just like my schedule is pretty much the same, so I'm not going to bore you guys with that again. Literally the same thing. But right before my training session, you see it every day. Like I'll use the bathroom real quick. You know, I'll take a piss. I'll fill up my water. I'll get my BCA powders, like you said. I'll get my headphones out. I'll get my logbook out. I'll look over the logbook. I'll look over the workout program for the day. I reply to my last message. Put my phone down. Pick up my second phone. Connect everything. And I'm like, all right, let's lock in, let's get it. Like literally, like I flip that switch, and I'm like, okay, like I'm going from coach trainer to bodybuilder right now. Granted, I'm still working, so I'm training you, but I'm bodybuilder. Right? It's just me and you training partners. Like I'm trying not to think like that at the moment, you know. I think just locking in on that really helps me. And looking over my numbers helps me. I'm like, okay, this is what I got to hit. You know, these are the goals for the day. These are the tasks at hand. Let's fucking get it.
And something that's new to me that I just started doing this, but it's really helped me, is like you said the example, it's kind of like watching a pregame, watching past history, but I will watch a previous top set the night before. And I will mentally get ready the night before for that workout because it's all out RPE 10, and it's balls to the wall. So my hack squats and my bench press, I'll watch them the night before. And I look at my form, I'm counting my tempo, and if I know I'm not going to go up in weight, okay, I'm going to do better on tempo, and I'm going to do better on the form.
And I'm all about that, man. I'm a visual learner myself, so I think having a video, I'm like, fuck, I fucked this up.
Yes.
I fucked this up. All right,
this one was too fast.
This is going to be better next time. You got to like almost become hyper vigilant on it, and you're like, I'm going to do this. Like I'm going to fix this, and this, and it's helped you with posing too. Huh?
Yes, dramatically.
And that's why I tell my people that all the time. Video yourself. You know, there's nothing wrong with fucking up. The only thing that's wrong with it is if you're not doing something to fix it. You know, you're gonna make mistakes. Like to be great at anything, you're gonna make a fuck ton of mistakes. I've made a ton of mistakes. I still make them daily, but the difference is I'm learning from them and I'm adapting and I'm growing. You know, and that's what it's all about, man. It's just trying to be better. I'm always trying to be a better Cody today than the Cody yesterday.
It's not so much practice makes perfect if you continue to do the same way. That's bullshit.
And I see people doing that, and then like they take a video to send me, and they're like, "Fuck, dude, I didn't realize I wasn't going so deep on these." And I'm like, "Well, now you know. Right now, you see it, and I can hold you accountable, but you're holding yourself accountable because you see it. So now we have something to work
I
on."
love when clients send me videos.
It helps a lot.
They
man.
critique
I can
themselves
kind of break
before
down
I-
for them. Yeah, I think just having a visual helps, man. So. I think if you guys take these tips and apply them, it'll really take your training to the next level. Especially if you're thinking about getting with a coach or you're already with a coach, like these tips are make or break. Really, I mean, like once you lock those in, like it's going to change everything about your journey as a whole. So I hope this helped you guys out. I really hope you guys are enjoying our videos. If you guys have anything that you want us to touch on or want to see, please let us know. Just comment.
Send us a message on Instagram.
Yeah, just send them to us, guys. We'll definitely cover really anything. Especially, we're doing a lot of these videos mainly for our clients, but also for anybody else out there that's just kind of tuning in, kind of want some tips. Like we get it, so definitely trying to do the most to help out. So thank you guys again. Tune in next week.